Tomas Sholl is a 1994-born goaltender from just outside of Los Angeles, California, Huntington Beach. He's a young man that's in his second year of junior hockey in the North American Hockey League, playing for Fresno. He had a very good first year last year as a senior in high school. Took that team to the playoffs basically on his back. He really did a nice job. He's a kid who they didn't have high expectations for at the beginning of the year, and out of their coach's mouth he came in and made the team unexpectedly, and then won the starting job unexpectedly, and played 40 games in junior hockey as a senior in high school as a goalie. Is a tough thing to do, and he had a really good statistical year. A little bit of background on Tomas as a kid and how we got involved with a kid from California. Alumni Nelson Emerson and Rob Blake skate out of the same rink. Thomas's dad runs the Toyota Center where the LA Kings practice, so they knew Tomas from all the way through growing up. So they kind of gave us a heads up on Tomas, and we went out and watched and did our due diligence. And he's a kid that we think fits right into what we're trying to do here at Bowling Green. Wants an opportunity, wants a chance to play Division I hockey at the highest level, wants to get a big-time degree, and wants to be a part of the transition that we're going through right now. So we're really excited about Tomas. He's back in Fresno this year. His statistics from a one-loss perspective aren't great. I don't think their team's as good as they were last year, but his numbers statistically as a goalie are real good. His save percentage is right up there around .930. He competes every night, and we think he's a kid that because of his exposure to hockey at a high level in Los Angeles, he's going to have a chance to continue to improve and really help us for his 4 years in college. I would say he's kind of more of a hybrid kind of kid. I mean, I'm not a goalie expert or anything. He's not a big kid. You know, a lot of the trend right now is to be recruiting these guys that are 6'3", 6'4", and Tomas is not that. Tomas is 6 foot, 6'1". I don't think he's done growing, but he plays a style that I would say the best way to describe it is he's very athletic in the net. And the nice thing about Tomas is you know, he's got access to some pretty high-end coaching while he's in Los Angeles. Obviously, like I said before, the Kings are out there, and his goalie coach, Jamie Storr, used to play goalie for the LA Kings, and you know, all summer long Tomas skates as the extra goalie with the pros that skate out of the Toyota Center. You know, he was kind of famous this summer for a YouTube clip of him versus Sidney Crosby. So we feel like Tomas we feel he's made up in a way that he wants to get better. He wants to improve. He wants to become a big-time goaltender, and I think, you know, he's got that opportunity not only at Bowling Green but in the summer. He's, like I said, he's athletic. You know, if you ask his coach, you know, what do you think of Tomas? He said, you know, he makes some saves that I don't know. He's still like most young kids. He's got to work on the fundamentals and fine-tune some things and be sharp all the time. But we really believe that the thing that kind of stood out to us with Tomas is that he's willing to try and be great, and he, you know, as we go through this process, he was all about coming to Bowling Green. He and his mom came on a visit last spring, really enjoyed it. They're the kind of people that we want to surround ourselves with, and so we're really excited about the future with Tomas, because again, I think he's a kind of kid who's he was never the top guy in his age group, or never invited to go to this camp or that camp. He's just worked and worked and worked, and always at the end of the day surprised people, and always been, you know, exactly where he thought he would be, you know, being a starting goalie on that, you know, the team for that year. So we're excited about Tomas for sure. Yeah, that's why we recruited him. We knew, you know, and as you know, we're in a kind of a unique situation here in terms of our goaltending. You know, Wyatt Galley chose not to come back, and Wyatt was on our campus. So during the recruiting process with Tomas, we had Andrew Hammond, we had Wyatt Galley, and we had Scott. And we weren't sure what was going to happen with Wyatt, because he had the second surgery, and we knew there was some rehab involved in that, and he may or may not be ready to start our year. That's why we recruited Tommy Burke, and Tommy's come in, and Tommy wanted an opportunity, and Tommy's done a great job for us in terms of taking advantage of his opportunity and making the best of it. And the same can be said for Tomas Sholl. We recruited Tomas Sholl to be Andrew Hammond. You know, Andrew graduates, we bring another kid in. So not to be Andrew Hammond, but to take Andrew's place in terms of opportunity and scholarship offer and whatnot. So, you know, right now, today, going into next year, you know, you've got Tomas Sholl, you've got Tommy Burke, you've got Scott Zacharias. Which of those three guys is going to take advantage of the opportunity? who's to say right now today, but we certainly recruited Tomas Sholl with the idea that he was going to give us an opportunity to compete for a job and win a game when it's his turn to start. And I think if you asked us in a perfect world, what would we like our goaltending situation to be, we would like to have a 1A and a 1B. You know, since you've been here, John, you know that Andrew Hammond's kind of taken the ball and run with it based on him having his game at a certain level, and then us, you know, whether it be due to injury or due to inexperience or whatever the case is, not having that second option. I think ideally we'd like to have that second option. So we'll continue to see and hope that Tommy Burke progresses and move forward on a day-to-day basis while he's here, and then Tomas Sholl continues to improve, and then at the end of this year we'll identify, you know, where we think we're at realistically in goal moving forward for next year, because as you know, it's a very important position. And the unfortunate part for Andrew is he got hurt, but the nice thing for us is it allowed Tommy Burke to get in there to play some games that were meaningful games. And we had really not had a plan in terms of Tommy, because we just kind of thought Andrew might, you know, play a lot of games this year. So next year it's going to be a situation where we don't have Andrew Hammond, who's used to playing just about every night, and we've got some guys who are going to be vying for the opportunity to play, and ideally in a perfect situation we've got a kid that's ready to play Friday night, and that's his game, and he's going to go out there and give us the best chance to win it on Friday night. And then we have another guy who's ready to take the same approach and take advantage of his opportunity on Saturday night.